Can I ask you a quick question
Yes.
about, I know I don't want to get too technical, but one of the things I really liked about some of the videos you were explaining, there are certain winter crops that you could plant that you end up keeping in a greenhouse over the winter that you can harvest. It
Yes.
was got spinach and a few things. So could I consider anything like that? Does that happen after
Absolutely.
the stuff's been pulled out, or do I plant
Well,
it?
that's the thing, and that's the problem with small greenhouse. Like if you only have so much greenhouse space, you can do it. It's hard. It just means that you need it, like you could seed, you could have that greenhouse full of did you buy any kale seeds?
I do have some.
Okay, so
Might not be
you could do, I mean, if you got kale, you could start that now as well, and then
yeah.
that would transplant uh in the ground in like 4 weeks. But
Okay.
then you could also start a fall crop again, uh June 1st, transplant July 1st, and then that'll be overwintered. So that's going to be difficult in your greenhouse because your greenhouses are full of tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers.
Yeah.
So you can try interplanting, but it's a thing that's like
It's a little tricky.
experience really makes that easier. Like
Okay.
without experience,
Sure.
I mean, you could go and watch some videos I've done on it. Like I've showed how I interplant and cross over a summer crop, and then I get a winter crop established on the foliage. I trim all the bottoms of the tomato plant so that light comes in, and it is kind of, in a small greenhouse, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's just, it's difficult to do. But spinach um, is easy enough because as long as you pull out your tomatoes by the end of September, you could clean up those beds, refertilize them, recompost them. You could plant that spinach in mid to late September and then establish that going into winter and then have something in there all winter. You could do that.
Yeah, I just want to see if I can get a little bit of that experience, not going crazy on it, but
Yeah.
if if I can maximize, if I have to take a couple of tomato plants on just to figure out how this works, because I think that's a pretty meaningful skill set within that realm to have that into the winter a little bit. At least that's how I perceived it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, what I did here is I gave you starting dates for this stuff, but
Yep.
like carrots, for example, I would recommend doing 3 plantings of carrots. So um do a May 1st planting, and the amounts you do is entirely up to you, how many beds you want to do. What I'd recommend actually is doing things in small beds, so small units,
Yeah.
because that way you can get lots of experience. You can kind of fuck around with like different um different styles. So like let's just pull up Google Earth here for a second again. And then I would say, like let's say that's approximately your field. And you could, what's our dimensions here, just to give me an idea of, so that's 66. Yeah, so you could do a bunch of like you could run beds whatever way makes the most sense geographically. Like I'm not seeing the exact contours here, but I
Yeah.
think we start to slope down this way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so maybe it would make sense to run beds just north and south like this.
Oh, okay.
It let me look at this map again.
For me, it's all an experiment anyways. It's not, we'll try it and see how that works. And then when it
Yeah,
comes.
I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is this. Can you see my
Yep.
board here?
Yep.
So, you've got this whatever shape thing, and so just to kind of mirror what we have here, here's that greenhouse, and then you've got this kind of plot it doesn't have to be this pattern, but it's kind of dictated by your slope and the areas that you're limited in.
Yep.
So what I'd do is I would just run beds like this.
Right.
and then basically split them up. So whenever you succession things, do chunks. So like looking, I'm just going to pull up that map of that list. Yeah.
Mhm.
So take a bunch of things. So like we said, we're going to do some carrots on May 1st. You could, you know what, you have lettuce. Do you have some lettuce seed in there too?
Yeah.
I saw some choy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, like so you know, you'd say, okay, this is a May 15th planting here. Or no, let's call this one a May 1st. Is that what we said for? Yeah. So like, okay, so that many carrots,
Yep.
that much lettuce. Do you know, do